Right now, deep inside your brain, your hypothalamus is silently overriding every hormone your body produces, and the endocrinologists who mapped exactly how it works admit they have no way to switch it off. You cannot feel it. There is no warning signal, but high performers have found one specific rule to interrupt it, and by the end of this, you will know exactly what it is. Most people assume their energy, their focus, their ability to think clearly, these are habit problems, discipline problems. They are wrong. Every one of those systems runs downstream from a single pea-sized cluster of neurons at the base of your brain. The control tower, the master clock, the structure that talks to every gland in your body without consulting you. When it drifts out of calibration, and research shows it begins drifting in most adults by their early 30s, the effects accumulate invisibly. Persistent tiredness that sleep doesn't fix. A mind that's technically awake but can't find first gear before noon. That strange, specific feeling of being exhausted and wired at exactly the same time. You explain it as stress, as aging, as bad luck. It is not luck. Your hypothalamus is dysregulated, and that distinction matters because one of those explanations is actually fixable. Here's what's happening inside you right now. Your hypothalamus functions like a thermostat, but for your entire hormonal system. Every 90 minutes, it fires a release signal toward your pituitary gland, which then cascades downward to your adrenals, your thyroid, your entire metabolic engine. That pulse is timed, rhythmic, locked to light, temperature, and movement. When the system runs correctly, cortisol peaks 45 minutes after sunrise. Melatonin begins building 12 hours later. Every organ in your body knows what time it is because the hypothalamus told it so. But when the signal gets corrupted, by light at the wrong hour, by sustained cortisol elevation, by skipping the one morning input, the system is quietly waiting for the pulses desynchronize. Your cortisol doesn't peak at dawn. It trickles, then spikes at 11 at night when you're lying in the dark wondering why your mind is suddenly sharp. Your melatonin arrives late and weak. And every downstream system, cognition, immune function, metabolic rate, begins operating on corrupted timing data. The system doesn't fail loudly. It misfires quietly every single day. The endocrinologists who discovered this mechanism can measure it with precision. They can show you the exact graph of your cortisol arc. They can tell you how far off your master clock has drifted. What they cannot do is reset it. Pharmaceutical interventions overshoot. Cortisol blockers suppress the signal entirely, which destroys the feedback loop the hypothalamus uses to self-correct. Hormone replacement treats the output, never the clock. The researchers who published the original dysregulation studies were explicit about it. Correcting the master oscillator from the outside is, in their words, an unsolved problem. You are on your own, which is exactly why what high performers quietly figured out matters as much as it does. And this is where everything you've been told about managing stress gets complicated. Because the most common advice, breathe slower, meditate, decompress before bed, isn't exactly wrong. But it's incomplete in a way that can actively make hypothalamic dysregulation worse. Here's the part nobody publishes. For a phase-shifted hypothalamic clock, late evening calming practices can deepen the misfiring. When you suppress arousal signals at 9 or 10 at night through meditation or cold exposure, you are sending the hypothalamus a timing cue. And if your clock is already drifted, that cue lands at the wrong point in the rhythm and reinforces the drift instead of correcting it. High performers who understood this stopped trying to fix the evening. They fixed the morning instead. The rule is this. Your hypothalamus resets its master clock from one input above all others, direct outdoor light hitting your retina within 30 minutes of waking. Not through glass, not from a screen. Outdoor photons. The suprachiasmatic nucleus, the internal timer embedded inside the hypothalamus, contains retinal cells almost exclusively sensitive to natural light in the 10,000 lux range. That signal doesn't just wake you up. It tells your hypothalamus when sunrise occurred, which then calculates the precise timing for every hormonal pulse that will fire for the next 16 hours. Cortisol peaks on schedule. Melatonin builds on schedule. Cognitive performance, metabolic rate, immune function, all of it gets accurate timing data from a single morning input. High performers don't skip this, not one morning, because they understand that every other optimization they run, sleep quality, training, focus protocols, nutrition timing, operates on the accuracy of this first calibration. Get the clock right. Everything downstream gets easier. Tonight, the application is simple. Set an alarm 10 minutes earlier than you think you need. Tomorrow morning, step outside within 30 minutes of waking. No sunglasses. Face east if you can, but direction matters less than timing. Stay out for 10 minutes minimum. No phone, no coffee yet, just your eyes in range of the signal your hypothalamus has been waiting for since the moment you woke up. But here's what the research uncovered while studying the hypothalamic clock. This structure does not operate alone. There is another region directly connected to it that has been running a parallel dysregulation process the entire time. And that region is significantly harder to reach. That's where we go next.